Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. Today we're cooking quiche. Variation of a quiche Lorraine. I mean, classical quiche Lorraine is just the bacon, right? And we're putting some leek in it, and we have some chives on top. But before we have a look here at the board for all the ingredients we need, please do me the favor, support the channel if you haven't done so yet by clicking the subscribe button and checking the bell icon to get notifications. And now let's have a look. So where do we start? We have our dough. I'll show you quickly how I did this. It's very simple and much better than, or tastes much better than the bought one. For our quiche dough, we need 250 grams of flour. We need cold butter. This is 125 grams, and I've made it into these small kind of pieces. And just put them in as well. And a teaspoon of salt. We also need an egg, but we're only adding that a bit later. So now, get your hands dirty and start kneading. If you have a machine, it will go quicker, but it's just as easy with your hands. Once you get to this stage, you can add your egg. And I just beat it a bit. I'm not kidding. I cut this obviously so that you don't get bored, but it took me 3 minutes to make this. Now we put it in the fridge, put it in cling film in the fridge for at least half an hour, and that's it. As you can see, not rocket science. Now we have our leek and our bacon. We're going to fry that up. The chives are just to decorate. And then we have, this is half milk, half cream. 250 milliliters. We have 3 eggs, and we have some Swiss mountain cheese. And I like it very strong. It has a lot of taste, this cheese. It's about 100 grams. I like it cheesy. Then we have some nutmeg, some pepper, black pepper, and some salt. And that's pretty much all we need. But let's start. I put this back into the fridge to keep it cool. And then we start with the leek and the bacon, because that needs to go on the stove. So we washed our leek. Now we just cut it down the middle. And we just check it again. If it's dirty, then we can wash it a bit again when it's split, because it's easier. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. So I'll cut that one and wash them both. And then we can continue with the prep. Yeah, this one as well is a bit dirty. And for a quiche like this, I like both the white and the green part. I will just cut off the far ends. And then all we need to do is cut it up. I would say a couple of millimeters thick. Our leeks are done. Now the next thing is the bacon. And with the bacon, we're just cutting it in strips. So, and don't worry about them sticking together, because once in the pan, they're going to separate again. So our leeks are done, our bacon is done. Let's fry them both up. A medium hot pan. Get our bacon in there. Now I fry the bacon first, because then hopefully we can get some of that nice bacon fat for when we fry the leeks. That's slowly starting. And I don't want these really crispy. I just want to fry them a bit. And you can see how they're stuck together before, and now they're basically separate. So I'm happy with this now. I don't want them to go any further. And as you notice, we haven't seasoned this, but we will season the leek, and we're seasoning the filling as well. So we take this away. As you can see, we left the bacon fat. We're just adding a little bit of olive oil, and we put our leek in. Ah, this gives a wonderful smell. And we don't want this to color either, so medium high is enough. We add a good pinch of salt and some pepper. Give this a try. Yeah, it's well seasoned. Still has a little bit of a bite to it, so we'll let it go a little bit further. Check consistency once again. That's perfect. So these are ready as well. So you can see our leek is done, our bacon is done. Now, before we continue, if you stuck with me this far, I'm sure you're eager to find out what the end result looks like. But please support me, support this video, hit that thumbs up button below. And now let's move on to the filling. So we have our mix of milk and cream, 50-50, so 250 milliliters of milk, 250 milliliters of cream. Into this, we'll add salt, a good amount. Let's see if this stays. And then some nutmeg. Don't be shy when you season this. Some black pepper. And if you season this first, before you add the eggs, you don't have to try raw eggs. We get our spoon out, give it a try. A bit more nutmeg. A little bit more salt. Pepper was enough. Give it another try. Perfect. Before we add the eggs, it's easier to break them in here. Now we add the mixture. Either take a bigger bowl or stir carefully. There's no way around this bigger bowl. And now we can mix it properly. Look to make sure that the egg has been mixed properly with the milk and the cream, which seems to be the case. That's it for the prep. Let's get to the dough. So I cleaned the worktop so we can roll the dough out. But before we do that, put the oven on 160 degrees to preheat it. 160 degrees circulating air. I can also show you this is the baking tray. And we have some baking paper that we're just going to put in so that it's just, you can butter it as well, but it's easier to just put baking paper. And what you do is you roll it into a bowl, because then it's easier, it's more bendable. As you can see, it follows the form much better like this. But we put that to the side for now, and we get going with our dough. Now don't worry about it cracking. You want it to be about 4 millimeters thick. You can always take this to kind of see if it fits. Yes, it does. It's clean underneath. So, let's see if we can roll this up. Now just go underneath it with a spatula. And then we try to roll it up on the rolling pin. Now we start just making sure that we're pressing it in everywhere. Now I can take a rolling pin, roll it on top. And the leftover things, the leftover dough, we can use to fill up where it was a bit too little. And there we go. It's time to fill it up. Put all our leek in. Spread it out. Like so. And our bacon. As evenly as possible. Last but not least, our cheese. And now all we need is the liquid filling. Now some people, or a lot of people, pre-bake the dough. I think that's unnecessary. You don't need to. It's quicker like this, and it's just as good. Why are we ladling it on? It's just so that we don't kind of disturb the nice distribution of the ingredients that we have done. So it stays nicely spread. I don't want to go all the way to the top. Just leave a couple of millimeters basically. And it's ready to go into the oven. So it's 160 degrees for 20 minutes and then another 10 minutes at 210, 220. I'll see you once it's done. Now we need to let this cool a bit before we do anything with it. So leave it a couple of minutes. So the first step of the cooling down process, let's see if we can get it out by lifting the Now we got this off at least. And the next step is trying to get it onto this one. There we go. Now the baking pan or the baking tray is gone and it can cool down on the griddle, which lets cool air get underneath as well. So we'll leave it for another couple of minutes, probably 10-15 minutes, and then we'll cut into it. Let's cut ourselves a piece. So, our chives. Just a little bit on top like that. And our leek and bacon quiche is ready. Let's taste it. Get ourselves a piece of the top here. It's really good. Such a simple dish. The trick is make sure to really season the kind of liquid filling and also the leek. It needs to almost be overpowering when you taste it like that with a spoon, because then it's going to taste really nice when you have the finished quiche like this. And also the dough is crisp. You don't need to pre-bake it. Just remember to, after 20 minutes, put up the heat in the oven for the last 10 minutes, and that kind of does the trick. But this is a really nice and simple dish. Can't fault it at all. And you can put other things in it. You can leave the bacon out and make kind of a vegetarian option. You can also put different things on top if you want. But I think the chives is a nice complement to the leek, and it works really well. So that's it for today. A simple quiche, but the simple things can sometimes be really good. So thank you very much for watching. Before we go, if you haven't done so yet, please support the channel by clicking the subscribe button and checking the bell icon. But that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.